Here we are in 2024. It's been a while since I've seen you. I know we're just waiting for everything to load up and then we shall get started. Let me look and see if Cloud Hub is loading up. Yep, Cloud Hub is loading up. Great, wonderful. Just be a second before we get started. It takes a minute for Rumble to get started, but I'm not concerned about that. It will load up, and if not, I can always put it up later. But it should be loading up right now. So it's good to see everybody. It has been a while, and we're going to discuss today why it's been a while that you haven't seen me. And I'll talk to you a little bit about it, but everything's going to be in code. All right. So you know why it's going to be in code. Hey, Deb, good to see you. I'm feeling much, much better. And again, we're going to talk about today why you haven't seen me and a little bit about some things. Also, I might be bringing you a show a little bit down the road here that talks a little bit more about what's going on. I'm doing some research on that right now. If I do bring that, I won't bring it to let's say, you channel. Okay. So speaking in code, you know what you channel is. I won't bring it over there, but I will bring it on Rumble. So if you haven't signed up already for seeing me on Rumble, and I'll bring it on Cloud Hub too, because I can bring this stuff on Cloud Hub. But if on Rumble, just go to Susan Knowles, SUSANKNOWLES. Go over there and subscribe. That way, no matter where I am, you will find me. No matter what I put up, you'll see it. And we can stay connected. Because anytime I put anything up on the You channel, I usually get a strike. And these are things even from like 3 or 4 years ago. Okay. So I never know how long I'm going to be on that channel. But let's get started about what I've been dealing with, and then we can talk afterwards. So let me get this up and get it going. Okay, so before we get started, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Here we are in 2024. Amazing. We're going to put 2023 behind us for the most part, except I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about what I've been going through in the latter part of 2023. I think 2024 is probably going to give us some surprises like we got in 2023. But I also think that if we have our focus in the right place, we're going to get through just fine. And I do think that what would be best is to forget 2023 and move on with a clean slate to 2024. Also, I want to let you know that I'm going to be speaking in code today because of the fact that I'm on certain platforms that don't like me talking to you about certain things. So if you have any questions or you need any clarifications, just go over to Rumble, look up Susan Knowles, and you'll find me over there. And then after the show is over, you can ask me anything in the comment section. I'll respond there, and then you can go back and see what I have said. So again, if you have any questions at all. Now, for the last couple of weeks, I've been dealing with the big C. Nobody wants to deal with the big C. I haven't had the big C before. This is something I know a lot of people have had, and sometimes more than once. And I know there's a new strain out, if you will, than what happened in the original big C. So I've been dealing with the big C for the past couple of weeks. It hasn't been fun, but let me tell you what I did to get through it. Now, this may or may not help you. This is my journey, and I can only tell you my experiences, what I did, and what helped me. Whether or not it would help you, I have no idea, and vice versa. What helps you may not help me. But if you have any issues with the big C, you'll kind of know what I went through, and you can see what you think about it. But first, before I tell you that, let me tell you how it started, because a lot of times people want to know, how in the world did you get the big C? Did you go to a party? Did you have a lot of people over? Were you, here, there, everywhere? Hmm, you know, none of those. Okay. Pretty sure my husband brought it home from work. Where he works, they like to tell you when somebody has come there who may have had the big C. so that you can be aware of it and know whether or not you might get it. Well, when he came home, sure enough, he got the big plus signs and we were off and running. He did it a couple of times to make sure. And we all know the tests aren't necessarily great and accurate, but he did it two times, thinking, well, perhaps this is accurate, and it may or may not be. To be honest with you, it may or may not be. Now, he immediately started the coughing and the fever. Okay. So, it's a lot of coughing, a lot of sneezing, a lot of blowing the nose. Fever, I would have to say, wasn't as bad as it probably could have been. I think the highest his got was about 101.9. And that's not too bad, right? That's pretty good. It could have been worse, a lot worse. So I went immediately into defense mode. I started taking the Z supplement, and that Z supplement is a four-letter word. I also started taking the Q supplement, which is a long word ending in an N. I also started taking extra vitamin C. Now I take a all natural vitamin C, like a Whole Foods type vitamin C. I get it from Paleo Valley, and it's called Essential C. So I started taking extra. I also kept my distance. I continued my exercising, going for a walk, and washing my hands a lot. I was feeling pretty good for a while and was thinking maybe I'm going to get through this unscathed. Well, then about 6 days later, it was my turn. Not that I was happy to see that, let me tell you. However, my symptoms were a lot different in a lot of respects than my husband's. Some were a little similar, some were completely different. And without being too graphic, I started coughing for about 1 to 2 days. And that was about it. Then came the stomach issues. And again, not to be too graphic, but you can see here kind of what I was going through. And that happened about for one day. Okay. One day. After that, it just seemed to linger in my sinus passages off and on for about 2 weeks. Really no big coughing, no sneezing a lot. Was blowing the nose a lot, but that was about it. And I never got a fever. I never had a fever the entire time. And in the second week, I was just exhausted most of the time. I really couldn't exercise because all I wanted to do was sit and not move. Now, I would continually get up and down because it's not good, to sit in the same spot for long periods of time. Some people develop blood clots. I did have somebody tell me that their doctor was worried about this particular big C giving people the clots, but I didn't hear that from anyone else. Okay, just to let you know. Now, it was in the second week that I slowly started getting back to walking every day like I had before it started. And it was a slow walk. I mean, I typically walk 2 miles pretty quickly. I don't even break a sweat most of the time. And this time, when trying to get back into it, I was sweating a little bit and walking pretty slow. But let me back up to the beginning and tell you what I did and what I learned. When we found out that we had it, we immediately contacted our doctor and asked for the eye med, right? The eye med. He declined to prescribe it and said that those particular meds had been debunked, which is not true. But that's what do you expect from a California medical person? I think in other states, you wouldn't have any problems in getting it. But he said he would prescribe the P meds from the P company that was created by them when the I meds were popular and mostly not allowed in the United States and particularly in California. And hopefully you can read the code on that. And our response was, no, thank you. No, thank you. Heard a lot of bad things about the P's and didn't want to take any chances. So I had some of the eye meds, but they had expired over a year ago. I never renewed them. And so I really didn't think they were effective and really didn't want to take them. So here is what I did. I wasn't hungry, so I didn't eat much at all for those first couple of days. But what I always did was I had ice chips in a glass that I would constantly use to keep hydrated. I would probably go through, I don't know, 3 or 4 of the glasses with ice in them just to make sure that I was very hydrated. I also drink ginger ale to settle my stomach. Now, I don't know if the Canada Dry ginger ale is really works for you or not. I do know it worked for me. I don't drink sodas. That's the first time I had ginger ale in probably, I don't know, maybe 20 years. I don't know. But my body seemed to want the ginger. And so I went ahead and I did it. Now, let me also say that before this happened, the last time I was probably sick with symptoms like this, with the F and that ends with a U, that type of thing we used to get every single year. It was probably 2008, 2009 was the last time that I've been sick. Now, like I said, I don't drink sodas, but my body just absolutely craved the fluids. And that's what I did. I just gave myself water, ginger ale. In the beginning, I was drinking a little bit of like the vitamin C juices, but I couldn't tolerate the juices too well. Now, when I could start eating again, I use the BART system, which you may be familiar with. I didn't want to jump back in and start eating like I was before because, frankly, I don't think I could have handled it. But the BART system is pretty easy. B stands for banana, A for applesauce, R for rice, and T for toast. And I didn't put butter on mine. Those are some things that I ate to gradually get my stomach back in shape so that I could get back eating the things that I ate before. Now, I ate this type of food for several days, like I said, before I could start back slowly on regular food. And over the course of my journey, I lost 3 pounds. Typically, if I lose weight like that, like it's water weight. When you're not feeling well, right? It's water weight. It comes right back. No, this wasn't water weight. This was 3 pounds. Now, if during this time I had a headache, which I did sometimes, and my sinuses were just like where the trouble started, I simply took Tylenol. Okay, that's what I did. No other meds, just Tylenol. I also used salt water to clear my sinuses and gargled with salt water. So I would sniff the salt water up my nose. I would just put pure water, pure salt in a squeeze bottle, put it up my nose, sniff it up a little bit, and then blow my nose. And I did that many times during the day. I would also gargle so that my throat wouldn't be dry, so I wouldn't get a sore throat or anything like that. Sort of preventative. Now, looking back, I should have done both more often. Okay. I think I stopped too soon and it lingered on in my sinus passages. And I still feel like I have a little bit left now that is not totally clear. So I should have done that more. Now, I tried to rest as much as I could and to remember that this particular strain or variety wasn't as bad as the original over 3 years ago. All right. So, the first thing probably a lot of people want to do, especially if they've never had it, because of the bogus stuff that you hear out there in the media, people start to panic. You don't need to panic, right? Just do what you feel that you need to do. Contact your doctor. Do what the doctor tells you to do if you feel that is appropriate for you. Now, what I believe helped me is the fact that I had been walking every day, the fact that I was taking the supplements and the vitamins that that I've talked to you about, the fact that I had been eating a healthy diet, the fact that I was at a healthy weight, and I prayed for healing all throughout my sickness, and others were praying for me also. I believe that this really helped me get through it, helped me not have a temperature, and helped me have symptoms that were, as compared to a lot of people that I've spoken to, milder than what they've had. And I'm pretty thankful for that. Now, we had not gotten the big C before, to our knowledge, but we had something for a couple days in the late 2019 before it supposedly all started. I have spoken to others who had the original big C, and they said that this one is worse. I have no opinion on that because, again, I haven't gotten it before. But the people who got the original one, they were in pretty bad shape. And as you know, a lot of people had to go to the hospital and bad things went from there. Okay. So I felt pretty good about what I had gone through. What I do know is that a lot of people are getting it. And if you are in the same house with somebody who has it, you're probably going to get it because you are sharing the same air for a long period of time. I tried to stay away from my husband. Tried not to be around him, wash my hands a lot, et cetera, et cetera. It didn't help. Why is that? Because viruses are airborne. Uh, I have here viruses airborne. It should be viruses are airborne. They are. And no matter how you slice it, you're breathing the same air for a long period of time. Now they always have been, and nothing else has changed. And then nothing has changed about that. Airborne viruses are airborne, all right, and they are airborne. That's it. So give yourself time to heal. Don't worry about the fact that, oh, you're feeling very tired today and you've been tired for a long time. I really was like that. I kept thinking, why am I not feeling 100% today? Why today do I feel like yesterday? That type of thing. And you got to give yourself time. I had heard some other people say it was about 2 weeks before they got really back to normal. And I would say 2.5 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks for some people is not unusual. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be absolutely sick and down for the whole time. It just means as you work through things, you may feel really tired. So just remember that. And again, just give yourself time to heal. The thing of it is, I have heard so many people, friends of mine, Facebook friends that I made over time, almost everybody has either the flu, the big C, combination, whatever. It seems to have just sort of exploded. Hey, sissy. Sorry to hear you. Yeah, I know. Thank you. You're doing better. The big C sucks. You had it in 2021. Well, and see, a lot of people are saying that they're getting it again. And a person that I know, this is, I think, her second time of getting the big C. And she said this one is worse than the original. Now, like I said in the video, I can't tell you whether or not that's true because I didn't have it, thank God. And but she's saying this is much tougher. It's taken her about 2-3 weeks to get over it, more like 3 weeks for her. So I guess for me, I did everything in the beginning that I thought that I could do to kind of avoid it. I just increased my supplements, especially vitamin C. Started taking the Z and the Q, uh, and that just didn't work. If you're in okay, this was my instance, okay, and I really feel that this is could be generalized, but I'm just telling you about my journey. If you are in a location with somebody else and you're sharing their space for a long period of time, you're breathing the same air is circulating around, there's not much you can do to avoid it. Now, maybe the thing that I could have done is go to a hotel for until he was over it. I don't know, but we'll never know. But again, we did everything that we could in trying to stay separated from each other. We were always so many feet apart. Not that we were counting, but we were just always that many feet apart, and it didn't do any good. And it this thing likes to hang on. That's why I say I would have done the salt water a little bit longer, and I would have done the gargling with the salt water as well a little bit longer, just to make sure that things are cleaned out. Now, no matter how many times that you clean the surfaces, no matter how many times you wash your hands, it just is not going to really matter. A lot of it is just the same thing that with the F and the L and the U's that we used to get, right? Speaking in code still. It just happens. It just circulates. There's not too much you can do with it. And with the things that are airborne, they're just airborne. I think if what I'm beginning to see and having been sick is if you walk by somebody and they happen to have it, your chances of getting it are a lot slimmer than if you are sharing space for a long time with them. Maybe I don't know how long the time. I would say 15 minutes on, but especially the longer the time, the more apt you are to get it. And it's just one of those things where you have to sort of relax, take care of yourself, rest up, try not to hurry things too much. Try not to worry. Don't let your anxiety get overrun you. And if you are in a place where you can get the eye type stuff, then some people that I've talked to that have had the eye meds, they still it took a little while to get over it. So I don't think there's any magical thing that you can do to get over it. It's just that you have to wait it out. And people that I know that did take a long time ago, they have it, of course, because they're still getting the big C even after doing that. And a lot of them I'm talking to, it's harder on them than on other people. And again, everything is different. What I had, my symptoms were different than my husband's symptoms. So it's just, I think it's a roll of the dice. Let's see, Deb said we ordered an air filter that kills germs, but I don't think it would matter because it's hard not to breathe when you live with Deb, it is. It's just kind of inevitable. The only thing I think you could do is probably, like I said, go someplace else for a while, for like a week, stay in a hotel or whatever, and hope that the germs aren't there. But germs are germs, right? So it's hard to live like that. The best thing to do is probably just to live, and just do the best that you can, taking care of yourself. And like I said, for me, I went about 6 days. Felt like, oh, maybe this is great. I'm not going to get it, but that was not the case. But up until that time, I was continuing to do everything that I normally did, increasing some of the supplements I was taking, and it still it didn't prevent me from getting it. I do think, like I said, that being in excuse me, so I'm losing my voice still. Being in better shape helped me to get through it faster. If I had been overweight, high cholesterol, not exercising, not eating well, not eating organic foods and things of that nature, I personally, for myself, don't think that I would have done as well. Um, as I said, the upper respiratory part of it, my husband had it for about a week. I had it for like a day or two, and then it just stayed in my sinuses, but it wasn't going into my chest or anything else. So, and again, he had the temperature. I never got the temperature. I had the stomach issues. He never got the stomach issues. And even the stomach issues, it was like a day and it was done. So I really feel that the key, I don't know, the key for me at least, was being in really good shape that I could be in, being at a really good weight, having eaten really good foods. And I think that is so important. And that's probably important for anything and everything that we might face, right, in life. Yeah, I think when you're healthy, you can get through things better. Doesn't mean that you're going to be able to avoid them, but you can certainly get through things better typically. But again, for you, I can only tell you what my journey, my husband's journey was. I can't tell you what to do for yourself or if anything was that I've done is going to help you. But I think, now's the time when you're feeling well to get things together that you might need, and have it at the ready, so that if you do come into it, then you're able to get through it a lot faster and a lot better than maybe you would have if you weren't doing all of those things. And I don't want to ever discount prayer, because I honestly feel that what I was doing, I was listening to a lot of sermons, I was praying a lot, I was asking for healing from the Holy Spirit. I'm a Christian. I believe in those doing those things, and I know they work. I know they work. So I would say for everyone, you can do that, and that will help you 100%. And I feel that that was part and parcel of my recovery and something that I absolutely needed. And it helped me get through it faster. And again, you're going to have remnants left over for, 2 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer. And again, just be patient. I'm back to eating the things that I ate before. I'm back to exercising. I'm back to taking the supplements. I'm doing all the things again that I was doing beforehand in order to stave off anything else. Um, and again, I'm not worried about being around other people. I'm not really around people for long periods of time, but I would have done that before the big C, and I would have done that after the big C or any other time in history, right? You just have to know that during this time of year, this is a time of colds and everything else season. So you just have to be more cautious than you normally are. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Now, again, if you have any questions, if you haven't deciphered the code of what I've been talking about, and you have a question for me, you'll have to leave it for me over on Rumble. Sissy said, great advice. Prepare and pray. Claim a healing through Jesus while going through it. Absolutely, Sissy. And that's what I did. I just made sure that I prayed that the Holy Spirit was healing me, and I could just feel that going on, and just continually asking Him to do that. And I really do know that that helped me. But again, if you have any questions or any comments that you want to make, go over to Rumble, look for Susan Knowles, SUSANKNOWLES. And at the same time, you may want to go ahead and just subscribe over there, because there are some things that I can talk to you about on Rumble and Cloud Hub that I can't talk to you about on the U channel, right? So anyway, anybody have anything else to say before we go? And hopefully I'll be back, next Tuesday, more on a regular basis. Just for the last 2 Tuesdays, you would not have wanted to see me, and I would not have wanted to sit and talk to you for even 5 minutes, because I wasn't feeling that great. But things are, looking up. It's the new year for all of us. I think the new year is going to bring changes and challenges and things that we have never seen before, just like it did with us in 2023. Things might get a little bit more difficult for some people and more difficult for the world in general. We just have to keep looking up and keep knowing where we're going, keep focused on the things that are important. And for me, the most important thing is Jesus Christ. And that's what I'm going to be focusing more on in 2024. Now, again, I may be bringing you something after I've done a little research. It will be on Rumble and perhaps on Cloud Hub as well, but some information for you to look up as well, and to know some of the things that are coming, or some of the things that are quote unquote being done. Sissy said, glad you're back. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you, Sissy. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Stay well, be healthy, get your exercise in, eat well, and we'll see you back here, God willing, again next week. Happy 2024. Happy New Year, everybody. All right, take care. See you soon.